Kylie Lingenfelter toes the rubber for Penn State. It is Alex Storako for Michigan. And the first pitch is high for a ball, and we are underway here at Alumni Field in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, this Penn State lineup probably getting a little tired of seeing Storako. Saw her for so long. She was the starter on Friday, pitched in relief Saturday, but they got to figure her out because she's back on the hill again.
Second pitch is low for a ball, and she did come in relief for Lauren Durkowski. Lauren Durkowski, the freshman from Elmhurst, Illinois, pitched 5 1/3 innings yesterday in relief of Megan Bobian and was dominant. The third pitch there is fouled off for a strike, so 2 balls and 1 strike the count to Cassie Lindmark.
And if you're Coach Hutchins from Michigan, why go away from Storako? The 2021 Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, an all Big Ten first-team selection, has been so effective against this Penn State lineup. Put her back out there, let her keep working. Oh,
and
wow.
That is a hit by pitch, and if you're Cassie Lindmark or familiar with Cassie Lindmark, you know that is nothing new. She actually leads Penn State in hit by pitches before the game with 13. She had 2 yesterday, now 1 today. A crazy number, now 14 on the season. Next highest is 5 for either squad.
Yeah, that looked like a breaking ball from Storako that just came out of the hand completely wrong. Not a painful hit by pitch at all, just kind of bounced into her foot. But Penn State now with some action on the bases.
First pitch to Allie Kirland is high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to the Penn State Allie Kirland. That is a foul ball. 1 ball and 1 strike the count.
Kirland is the most dangerous hitter in this Penn State lineup. Leads them in 4 offensive categories: hits, RBIs, home runs, slugging percentage. After these first 2 batters in the Penn State lineup, it gets a lot softer. So got to be careful to Kirland here, as there's a check swing and she just couldn't hold it up for strike 2.
As you said, she could not hold back, going for that high cheese. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Penn State designated player.
Kirland was just named Big Ten Player of the Week after her Purdue series, in which she absolutely raked.
And we'll do it again. She fouls it back into the netting. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner on first base, Cassie Lindmark. Not a big threat on the bases with her legs. She only has 1 stolen base on the year.
Zach, how about this for some numbers? 583, 7 hits, 3 home runs. Not bad for a 3-game set.
Not bad at all. And that'll win you Big Ten Player of the Week.
Absolutely.
She holds back on that one. She does not swing at the high cheese. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So far in this series, as I mentioned in the pregame, Storako has not had much trouble. And although she is starting out with a runner on, strikes out Kirland. So avoiding any further issues with that second batter in the Penn State lineup. She sets her down on strikes, swinging.
Looks like she went back up to the pitch that she just missed with last time, that high fastball. Kirland laid off it the first time, not the second time. It's almost a rise ball from Storako. It's so difficult to lay off, comes right up into the hitter's eyes.
And stepping to the plate is Leone as she looks at ball 1, high and outside. The Penn State third baseman, Michelle Leone, went 2 for 3 yesterday, both singles. She had the most hits in that Penn State lineup, 2 out of 5, and she swings and misses for strike 1 in this at-bat.
For Storako, all weekend it's been mostly hard stuff. Has mixed in a few breaking balls here and there to kind of keep the hitter off balance, but today it's been mostly that fastball, that rise ball. It does have a little side-to-side movement, but the Penn State hitters haven't been able to catch up, as there's another swing and a miss with some more of that hard stuff.
As you say, she has not been able to catch up to Storako. This thing, a swing and a miss, another 2-strike count. A place Storako is very comfortable with her almost 12 strikeouts per 7 innings. 1-2 pitch on the way, swing and fouled off into the netting. We will do it again.
It's again the 3rd or 4th pitch that they've fouled back to the screen. They're under the ball, and that speaks to that how much kind of rise movement, as I touched on before, that those pitches from Storako have. And that's a great way to get swing and misses, because sometimes you're going to completely swing under the ball.
Storako's pitch swung on and missed. It's high, but swung on and missed. Strikeout number 2 on the day for Storako. And now stepping to the plate is number 4 batter in the lineup, Lexi Black.
What were we saying? She goes back to that high hard stuff. Leone was able to foul it off the first time, but swung under it completely. Second strikeout for Storako.
Another high fastball, this one out of the zone. And bat remains on Lexi Black's shoulder for the first ball of the at-bat. Yesterday we saw Megan Bobian struggle with her command early on. Looks like Storako is throwing some balls out of the zone, but potentially intentionally. Strike one in this at-bat to Lexi Black. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Black, the junior from Omaha, Nebraska, went to Millard West High School and then actually went to Otero Junior College before transferring into Penn State. A pretty good average on the year and can hit for some power, as we can see. And that's why Coach Crowell has her in the 3 spot.
She recorded the only hit against Storako in the game on Friday, and she had the only hit through a few innings yesterday. So if she is going to be consistent, she'll have another base knock today. She looks at ball 3, another high fastball from Storako.
Hitters count now 3-1. She can be very specific with what she's looking for here. Don't want to swing on anything out of the zone if you don't have to. Could also be taken all the way.
And she is taking, and she goes to first base on a walk. She checked her swing, says first base umpire Terry Holt. And now Penn State with their first opportunity with a runner in scoring position. Yesterday they were 1 for 9 in such scenarios. And now stepping to the plate is Caitlyn Morrison. Morrison stepping in for Mel Coombs, as I talked about earlier. She was 0 for 1 with a strikeout yesterday, and first pitch of the at-bat is in there for a swinging strike.
That's Black's 11th walk on the year, and Zach, as you kind of touched on before, she seems to be one of the few hitters in this Penn State lineup that's been able to pick up the ball out of Storako's hand.
Not many batters that are able to do so. And that one's high for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Storako comes set. The pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 2. Another 2-strike count. Both 2-strike counts thus far in this inning have resulted in a strikeout. Caitlyn Morrison trying not to be the 3rd victim of Alex Storako. The pitch. In there for strike 3, and 3 batters have struck out this top half of the first inning by Alex Storako. On the mound, Kylie Lingenfelter for Penn State. She deals the first pitch in there for a called strike.
Lingenfelter comes in with 4 wins, 8 losses on the year, a 4.12 ERA. This will be her 21st appearance. She appeared in yesterday's game, started it as well, although she was eventually taken out for partial to come back in. But another chance on the hill, and she fared pretty well yesterday against this Michigan lineup.
She did, showing bunt there, but unable to make contact is Burkhart. Now 2 strikes in this at-bat. No balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out with Burkhart leading us off. The pitch swung on and fouled off, out of play. As you said, Lingenfelter pitched well. She pitched the first 2 innings yesterday. She did allow 3 hits, and she had 1 strikeout, but the big number for her was no runs allowed.
Exactly. Doesn't really matter how you get it done, just that you do.
That one bounces in front of the batter's box for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Pulled the string on that breaking ball. We saw Storako do that on the hit by pitch last inning. Luckily for Lingenfelter, Burkhart's a left-handed batter. That probably would have come up and hit her in the leg as well.
Lingenfelter comes set. The pitch swung on, and it's to left field, but in foul territory and too far to the left for Finnegan to reach. And we'll do it again with a 1-2 count to Michigan leadoff hitter Christina Burkhart. Burkhart, David, has had quite the series, going 4 for 6 thus far with an RBI, 2 runs, and a multitude of singles.
She's just the perfect table setter at the top of the lineup. Gets on base at such an incredible rate and lined that one. Made pretty good contact, but the catch made by Marcotte there at the shortstop position.
Not often finds herself at the dish with nobody on, but she does so here looking at ball one.
And the outfielders and infielders probably love it when Lingenfelter's on the hill. She doesn't strike out a ton of players, so the ball's going to be in play. They get to run around a little bit, as opposed to someone like Storako that's sitting everyone down. No contact involved whatsoever.
Ball number 2, outside and low. 2 balls and no strikes to Ellie Sealer.
Corners of that Penn State infield drawn really in. Sealer is kind of that slap style of hitter. She likes to bunt. She likes to kind of run at the ball, just slap, make contact, use her speed to get on base. A terrific outfielder, too. Plays great defense, has good contact skills. She takes a strike there, though, so the count now at 2 balls, 1 strike.
2 balls, 1 strike the count. Lingenfelter at the mound, gets her sign. Checking her wristband, comes set, the pitch is outside for a ball.
That just missed.
As I said, Ellie Sealer does not usually find herself without a runner on base as she follows Burkhart in the order. And many times this series thus far, she's been giving that bunt sign to try to advance Burkhart and has been unable to do so. But right now she does not have the bunt sign with nobody on. She fouls that one off. Now the count is full.
Big cut there from Sealer. It's a pitch she probably wants to see again. Just ripped it back to the screen, but with contact, that ball would have gone a mile.
Full count to Ellie Sealer. The pitch. She was looking to walk, but she will not do so. She'll walk back to the dugout after a strikeout looking. And the second out of the inning, the first strikeout of the day for Kylie Lingenfelter.
Changing the planes a little bit, and Sealer.
Hannah Carson aggressive early on this at-bat, fouling one off on the left side. So no balls and 1 strike to the Michigan catcher. The senior from Wademan, Michigan is 1 for 7 thus far in the series, looking to get back on track here.
Carson, a powerful hitter. Among the Michigan leaders with 3 home runs.
Second pitch of the at-bat is outside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. As you said, she is a power threat, leading the team in RBI with 26 on the year. Nobody on here, though, so the most she can get is 1. And strike on that changeup. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Great pitch there. Carson completely fooled. It's a plus pitch, that changeup. The speed difference is immense, so it can get a lot of hitters off balance.
Lingenfelter's 1-2 pitches come back to her, and she throws to first baseman Lexi Black, and out is Hannah Carson. And that'll do it for the top half of the first, or the bottom half of the first inning and the entirety of the first inning. Stepping to the plate, she is the 6th hitter in the Penn State lineup, the shortstop. She looks at pitch number 1, and that's strike number 1 in the top half of the second inning. Starting this count, no balls and 1 strike. Lauren Marcotte faced Storako twice on Friday, striking out in both plate appearances. She looks at that one high for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Storako hasn't had the most pinpoint location so far in this game. Has let some pitches get away from her. We'll see if that's a trend or if she's able to kind of get command of her pitches there, as there's the good old reliable fastball kind of elevated in the zone a little bit that the hitters just can't get their hands over right now.
Indeed, that'll bring us to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Storako comes set and fires outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Deep breath from Storako. And towards the plate she goes, and strikeout number 4 on the day, excuse me. And number 3 for Marcotte in 3 at-bats against Storako thus far this series, as that is the first out in the second inning.
Went back to that fastball, a little bit low and away, and Marcotte just swung right over it. Another strikeout for Storako, who is on pace for another double-digit strikeout performance.
At the plate now is Maggie Finnegan, who did not go around, says first base umpire Terry Holt.
Speaking of Storako's strikeouts, earlier this year she had 17 in a game versus Bowling Green. So a master at her craft out there in the circle.
She is quite impressive with the strikeout numbers. Last year, she averaged about 13 per 7 innings, which led the nation. And she's down from that number to about 12, which is still quite impressive. She's working her way back in this count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Finnegan, the lowest average in this Penn State lineup. Definitely one that Storako expects to get. Finnegan in there for...
Swing and a miss for strike number 2. Again, a 2-strike count for a batter facing Storako.
Finnegan plays excellent defense, but doesn't really get on base at a high rate, doesn't hit the ball particularly well or with much power.
And strikeout number 5 on the day for Alex Storako. And she is dealing, David.
Yeah, you could tell Finnegan just looked a little bit intimidated there in the batter's box. Couldn't catch up to anything Storako was throwing. It was only a matter of time before she went the way that many of her teammates in the lineup have already gone.
And Mel Coombs, the right fielder, stepping to the plate. She swings and misses. She tried to check her swing, but was unable to do so.
Coombs, one of 2 sophomores in this Penn State lineup. Also struggling to get on base at a super high rate, batting just 184 on the year.
She looks at a ball there, 1 ball and 1 strike. And today, it's Coombs, normally the second baseman for Penn State, slotted in as the right fielder. Off-speed pitch fooled her, swing and a miss, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And as I mentioned earlier, every batter that has faced a 2-strike count today against Alex Storako has resulted in a strikeout.
She didn't have a prayer on that swing. Expecting something hard.
And the streak continues. 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts this inning. And that'll be 6 on the day for Alex Storako. All 6 outs have been strikeouts, scored 1 of which was the game-winning run. She fouls off the first pitch for a strike. No balls, 1 strike to count.
Penn State must be getting tired of seeing Livingston. She's just been the thorn in their side all series. That 3-run homer, scored the game-winning run yesterday. They're saying, why did you have to transfer to Michigan?
One ball, 1 strike, because that one's high.
Livingston has caught fire recently. Didn't start the year in the starting lineup. After the Wolverines' trip to Florida, and
flares into left field, looped in there for a single. Livingston continuing her ways against her former team. Man, she is just on fire, David.
And Zach, we have a hit.
Can't really ask for much more than that.
Absolutely not.
And at the dish now is Taylor Bump as she fouls one off, looped over to the right side, but hit the netting against the first base dugout. Taylor Bump, David, started the year in a really uncharacteristic slump. Last year she hit 325, but this year she was hitting close to 200, although the last 3 games, potentially she's turned a corner.
Yeah, and the best way to get out of a slump is to hit a ball about 10,000 feet onto the baseball field here at the Wilpon complex. Bump, no stranger to long home runs, hit an incredibly impressive home run last year against Maryland that hit an academic building about across the street from the stadium. So one of my favorite hitters in this Michigan lineup to watch as she fouls the ball back. Count at 1-2.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count. And as you mentioned, that home run on Friday against Penn State. The game before that, she had an RBI double versus MSU, and then yesterday she also had an RBI double. So an extra base hit that's resulted in an RBI each of the past 3 games. As that
Livingston's
wild
going.
Pitch. And as you say, Livingston using her wheels.
The pitcher.
But now, with Taylor Bump at the plate and a runner in scoring position, she could be in line for another RBI situation. She fouls that one off, and will do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So Lingenfelder's thinking strikeout here. Bump wants to advance the runner any way she can. If she can get Livingston all the way home, that's a plus, but anything to the right side of the field should get Livingston over to third.
2-2 pitch. Fouled off once again. And we'll run it back at the 2-2 count.
Bump's in swing mode right now. If I was Lingenfelter, I'd go something high and hard or throw that changeup. Although she hasn't shown great command of that changeup so far this game.
2-2 pitch. Outside for a ball. Count is now full.
Gutsy take there from Bump. That thing didn't miss by much.
Three-two pitch from Lingenfelter to Bump on the way. That one hit into right field. And going against the wall.
Wow,
and
what a
caught
catch.
as Coombs running the third, tagging up. Heads up base running by Livingston. She's headed home. Play at the plate. She's in there. What heads up base running by Livingston, tagging up from second and then advancing on the pass throw. Michigan on the board. Taylor Bump with the sacrifice fly. And officially will not be ruled an RBI for Taylor Bump. So she is yet to record an RBI today.
Wow.
And Lauren Essman swings and misses at the first pitch.
Brutal error. I mean, you just smashed into the wall and made an incredible catch, trying to throw the ball about 200 feet across the diamond.
And in right field, you can see Coombs flexing her left arm. Seems to be a little shaken up after that play against the wall as Essman looks at pitch number 2 for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if that play had occurred in Happy Valley, it would have been a sac fly. A little bit of hometown scoring, cooking the books a little bit here in Ann Arbor.
1-1 pitch off speed. Line foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And you can see between every single pitch, right fielder Mel Coombs focusing now on Lauren Essman at the plate. 1-2 count. Fouled off into foul territory. Out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and here at Alumni Field, there is seating down that right field line. So as a right fielder, you're essentially running into the crowd, not just the wall. So definitely makes the play a little bit more intimidating as you've got people reaching out, limbs kind of in the way of the ball.
Essman once again fouling off the 1-2 offering from Lingenfelter. Next pitch is going to be with a 1-2 count once again.
Esmond from Kalamazoo, Michigan, by way of Gull Lake High School, which is just a great high school name.
Another foul ball off the bat of Lauren Essman. She's really making Lingenfelter work in this at-bat.
And Esmond was Gatorade Player of the Year in Michigan out of high school in 2019, named Miss Softball in Michigan, and was recruited highly by Coach Hutch one of the most respected coaches around, Coach Hutch, with over 3,600 wins, as we know. And she's got another great squad, as she tends to always do.
Number 22 in the nation, the Michigan Wolverines. 1-2 pitch. Once again, guess what? It's a foul ball by Lauren Essman. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Work the count, see some pitches. Esmond hanging in there. And going back to Hutch, she will soon enough get to 1,700 wins. She's just 8 wins away. Another remarkable milestone is.
And Lingenfelter wins the battle. Essman down on strikes looking for the second out in the bottom half of the second inning. Audrey LeClaire at the dish for Michigan looking at ball 1. She was the star last night with the game-winning RBI. She went 2 for 2 in that contest after going 1 for 2 in the previous game. After getting inserted in the starting lineup after the Lexi Blair injury, she's gone 5 for 13 in the past 5 games. Looking at a called strike, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, and the old baseball saying goes that it looks like a line drive in the book. That walk-off single might not have been the most pretty piece of hitting, kind of a bloop shot that hardly got out of the infield, but hey, in the scorebook it looks like a line drive up the middle that won the game, as she takes here ball 2.
Ball 2, 2 balls, 1 strike. That one was a hit last night due to the infield being in with runners on first and third. The corners were in, having their play have to be at home on any contact. And so it was over the heads of the infielders and too shallow for the left fielder to get. Great eye from Audrey LeClaire. Ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Hitters count here 3-1 with 2 outs and no one on. Pick something specific and go try to hit it a mile, essentially. LeClaire's approach.
Pitch to LeClaire is in the zone and right back again to Lingenfelter as she scoops it and flips it to Black. And that'll do it for the top half, or the bottom half again, of the second inning.
Canceled the hit.
Crothamel at the plate, swinging for strike 1 from Storako. No balls, 1 strike, and nobody out in the top half of the third inning. 9-hitter at the plate, Lilia Crothamel. Second pitch in the at-bat is high for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
Crothamel, the senior, out of Allenstown, Pennsylvania, and she has something that you can't teach, and that's speed. In center on Friday, she made an incredible diving catch. She's a perfect 9 for 9 on stolen bases this year. Just a menace on the base paths as Storako delivers a strike there. Storako wants nothing to do with Crothamel on the base.
But you know what, David? You cannot steal first base, and that's the issue
That
with
is
Lilia
true.
Crothamel against Alex Storako. She looks at ball 2. Closest thing she can get to stealing first base is working a walk. She's 2/4 of the way there. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Do not know where that last pitch from Storako missed.
2-2 pitch is high and outside for a ball, and Crothamel did not go around, says first base umpire Terry Holt. So full count to Lilia Crothamel. Crothamel on Friday against Storako was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Common theme among these Penn State hitters. 3-2 pitch, strike 3, the 7th of the day for Alex Storako, and the first out of the top half of the third inning, of course, is a strikeout.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Get Crothamel with the top of this Penn State lineup coming back up with Lindmark and Kirland waiting in the wings. Getting that first out is big. And just overpowered her with a fastball there. Wasn't great location, just said, I'm going to throw this so hard that you can't hit it, and that's what she did.
Storako's first pitch is a ball. She does not agree with the call, but home plate umpire Trina Comerford says it was out of the zone. So 1 ball and no strikes to Cassie Lindmark, who was hit by a pitch in her first plate appearance. One of 2 Penn State hitters to actually reach base in this one. Second pitch is outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes.
Lindmark, the Kentucky transfer, far and away the best average in this Penn State lineup. Super dangerous hitter.
Another ball to Lindmark. 3 balls and no strikes.
She's also got some pop, though, which you don't always see from a leadoff hitter. But 6 home runs, 29 RBIs when she's often the one on base. Pretty impressive numbers.
3-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. Cassie Lindmark had the take sign and did not move the bat off her shoulder. 3 balls and 1 strike from Sirocco as she tries to work her way back from that 3-0 count. 3-1 pitch is high. And for the second time of the day, Cassie Lindmark is standing on first base and once again adding to her team-leading total in walks. Yesterday she had 1 walk and 2 hit by pitches. So far today she has 1 walk and 1 hit by pitch. That was good for her 13th walk of the season.
It's so apparent that the way that Sirocco approaches both Lindmark and Kirland at the top of this Penn State lineup is so much different than the rest of the lineup. And, you know, Penn State is a softball team that's been improving these last few years. Crowell has done a good job as head coach, but the depth isn't quite there. They've got a good top of the order, but you get a little bit further into it, and there are some easier outs.
And she started out Kirland with 2 straight strikes. No balls and 2 strikes. As you were saying, that 2-headed monster at the top of the Penn State lineup. Only 2 hitters above 300 who have started the majority of the games. The only other hitter is Caitlyn Morrison. She's only started 6 games of the 37. So with a large sample size, those are the only 2 hitters that have made an impact. And there's making an impact. Callie Kirland depositing one over the right field wall. And Penn State with their first hit of the day, their first run of the day, and 2-1 lead for Penn State as that softball was thrown back onto the field by an unhappy Michigan fan. And Allie Kirland really got all of that one, David.
That thing got out in a hurry. And what have we been saying all day? Sirocco's been elevating those fastballs, trying to get hitters to swing it under them. But when Kirland can time it, that thing got out of there in about 0.3 seconds into the right field stands. Nothing the right fielder Leclerc can do except turn and watch. And the fans out there say, I don't want this. Throw it back onto the field. But Penn State takes the lead.
They do with the 2-1 lead now, and the first pitch to Michelle Leone is low for a ball. As you're saying, those are the 2 most dangerous batters in this Penn State lineup. One got on base, the other hit a home run, and all of a sudden Penn State, after being struck out for 7 straight batters, I should say, 7 straight outs, Allie Kirland hits a home run into the right field bleachers. Second pitch there to Michelle Leone is in for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's the formula for the Nittany Lions. Lindmark gets on, Kirland hopefully gets her in, maybe a little bit of help here and there, some good pitching, and they've been able to win some games.
And coming into this game, Kirland, leading the team in home runs with 13, was actually tied for 12th in the country with that total. So going up the leaderboard as well, and that's back to the norm for Alex Sirocco as she strikes out the batter, Michelle Leone. And Sirocco took off her mask thinking that it was the 3rd out of the inning, but she seemed to forget that she allowed a home run to Allie Kirland, the previous batter.
Yeah, and Kirland homered last year in the series versus Michigan, so she likes seeing that maize and blue in the opposition uniform. And someone needs to let Sirocco know she's got one more batter.
And still, every out of this contest by Sirocco is a strikeout.
Keep the softball inside of it, but as we've seen, not many players do make contact, so it is kind of the give and take there.
First pitch to Lexi Black is fouled off into the netting. No balls and 1 strike to count. with 2 outs. Lexi Black in her first plate appearance worked a walk. Second pitch the at-bat. Holding off is Lexi Black on that high pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Penn State, it's the most runs they've scored in the 3-game set. They've been so shut down by the Michigan pitching staff, which has been primarily Sirocco. But finally getting some offensive firepower. However, I have an inkling this game isn't going to finish 2-1. They're going to need some more runs with the way both teams.
And swing and a miss. Not being able to check her swing is Lexi Black. And that'll be the 9th strikeout of the day. All of the outs recorded.
It is what it is, but really a packed house today to come see this nationally ranked Michigan softball team. First pitch in there, strike 1 to Sierra Kirsten. Kirsten, the sophomore from Clarkson, Michigan, out of Clarkson High School, a former all-state shortstop. Now in her 2nd year with this Wolverine program, she takes in there for a strike that just caught the edge of the plate. A late call from our ump. That's Trina Comerford behind the dish tonight. Quick 0-2 hole for Kirsten, who has to protect the dish now. And that pitch looked to be exactly where the last one is, but just a bit outside. That takes the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Kirsten, a little bit fortunate there. Let's see if she takes advantage of her new lease on life. The pitch swung on and missed. She goes down. 3rd strikeout for Lingenfelter today. Doesn't start a whole ton for this Michigan team, but getting an opportunity here, batting in the 9-hole. She is batting .305 on the year, although she hasn't had a ton of at-bats. But still, she is going to be an impact player for this Michigan team going forward. Very exciting, and the home crowd gets a look at her now in Big Ten play. First 2 pitches were both a little bit low, so the count at 2-0. Widra we saw taking some batting practice before with Coach Hutch, fielding some ground balls. Still getting used to that infielder role.
That's a swing and a miss, so 2 balls and 1 strike, the count to Annabelle Widra. Widra yesterday came off the bench. She went 1 for 3 with a strikeout, taking over for Ella McVeigh as the pinch hitter. And she puts a drive into that one to center field. Going back is Crotable, not able to get it in. It's gone! Home run, Annabelle Widra. What a roll, what a shot in that 9th spot. Not much more you can ask from a 9 hitter in your lineup.
Yeah.
Stepping to the plate now, the top of the order as it flips. And Burkhart flying out to left field in foul territory. She jumped on the first pitch there from Lingenfelter.
Good play by Finnegan. Great first step. That ball looked like a little bloop shot that might get down.
Michigan. 2 outs in the inning. And again, she's swinging on the first pitch, but this goes foul. Line drive on the left side beyond 3rd base.
And that home run from Widra almost caught our cameraman out there in center field. Hope he's okay. He looks like he's doing fine. Maybe got a souvenir for his troubles up there on the scaffolding.
The second pitch of the at-bat is low for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ellie Sealer. She's looking for her first hit of the series.
Here we get another look at our guy out there in center, our cameraman. Doing the hard work out there, but hey, 65 degrees, coming to see a nationally ranked softball team. I think there are worse jobs. definitely was eager to get back in the dish. We saw that when she swung hard at that first pitch, and now she finds herself in command of the count.
2-1 count, and that one is fouled off, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ellie Sealer, as you mentioned earlier, does not strike out much. Only 9 strikeouts on the year, which is impressive considering she's hitting 186, so very contact hitter. And she looks at that for ball 3, so 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Right, and that's what you want when you have someone who's batting near 450 leading off. You just want someone that can move that runner over, not strike out, get the ball in play. That's exactly what Sealer is.
3-2 pitch is inside for a ball, and she works a walk. Michigan potentially brewing a 2-out rally. Stepping up to the plate now, number 3 hitter in the lineup, Hannah Carson.
So, Lingenfeller's got to be careful here.
And that one's a drive to left field in the gap, but making the play is Crothamel, ranging to her right, fully extending. And that'll do it for the 3rd inning. But the damage is done. The bat and on the first and third base lines. And we're back. First pitch from Storako is a ball, 1 ball and no strikes to Caitlyn Morrison.
It's bingo night here at the park throughout the game. A little fun promotion here at Alumni Field as different things occur, like a strikeout or a pop out. Every fan was given a little bingo card, and they
I'm sure the strikeout square is exhausted at this point. If you have that square, then you are set.
Yes, absolutely. With Storako on the hill, you probably need 3 or 4 different bingo cards.
1-1 count to Morrison, and a swinging strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still, if a Penn State batter has gotten to a point where there are 2 strikes in the at-bat, all 9 of them have recorded a strikeout. Caitlyn Morrison could be the next victim, and she is. 10th strikeout of the day for Alex Storako, and she is feeling it, David.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was an off-speed pitch there. We've seen a lot of that elevated fastball, some of that kind of rise ball, but we haven't seen a pure changeup get a hitter out. She hasn't really needed it, but used it very effectively there, and Morrison goes down for the 2nd time.
Lauren Marcotte at the plate, swinging and missing at the off-speed pitch from Storako.
Yeah, if Storako can get the off-speed working, you're in trouble, because you could get in the box and she could throw only fastballs down the middle, and it would still be difficult to make contact. So when she has command of 2 different pitches, I do not envy the batters, in this case Marcotte.
Ball is high to Marcotte, 1 ball and 1 strike. The only players to touch the softball today on the defensive side are Storako, Hannah Carson, and Audrey LeClaire throwing that softball back after it was thrown onto the field after the home run. 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out.
Storako still at about 65 pitches, so doing fine from a pitch count perspective.
Another high pitch from Storako, 3 balls and 1 strike. She's pitched in the previous 2 games in this series. Allowing 1 hit in each, and she's allowed 1 today, that being the home run. She has allowed a walk to Marcotte, the 3rd walk of the day.
And you wonder how long Coach Hutch is going to keep Storako in the game. We saw Lauren Durkowski, the freshman, come in and pitch quite effectively yesterday, but she pitched a lot. The other option would be Megan Bobian, although she struggled with command. That could go either way, though. Maybe giving Bobian a chance to get back on the hill, get back in control would be good for her. That being said, this is a tight game, 2-2. You want your ace on the hill for as long as possible.
Indeed, and strike 1 there to Finnegan. Pitch number 2, she's squaring around, and she gets it in play. First ball in play today, and that's an out. Great play by Esmond to throw it over to Livingston.
Esmond was cheating in there. The corners were in as soon as she turned to bunt, but a good bunt gets the runner advanced.
And 2 more players on this Michigan defense have now touched the softball.
Yes. More importantly, we've had a ball in play.
And Mel Coombs stepping to the plate with a runner in scoring position. Unable to check her swing, but does not matter. It would have been a strike regardless.
So you wonder, bunt the runner over with 2 outs for your hitter batting 184 on the year. But any chance for a runner in scoring position.
And she squares around the bunt, and that one is into
what a catch.
Stands way above the netting. As you said, nice catch made by a fan.
Yeah, and if that fan hadn't made the catch, another one of our cameramen would have gotten a chance up there.
No balls, 2 strikes to count. Let's see if the trend continues. And it does! The 3rd strike of the at-bat, the 2nd strikeout of the inning, and the 11th of the day through 4. Alex Storako is dealing. Oatley as a relief pitcher for Penn State, taking over. First pitch is a ball. We saw Oatley yesterday, the junior from South Kingston, Rhode Island. She pitched 1 inning. She allowed 4 hits with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts, allowing 1 run.
A former top 100 national recruit, Oatley, another lefty.
Livingston fouls off the offering from her former teammate. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
And going back, talking about Hutch, one thing that I think opponents really respect about Coach Hutch is how willing she is to challenge her team. I mean, this preseason schedule for Michigan was simply brutal. The amount of top 25 teams going down to Florida, facing against some of the SEC schools, getting some wins, but getting a sense for what the competition is going to be like later in the year. Michigan, 5 wins, 7 losses against ranked opposition this season, and they've played already 8 games against teams ranked in the top 10. They've won 2 of them. So good experience. That ball grounded to the shortstop.
Marcotte fires to first base in black, and retired is Livingston. Pitched, you were saying? Hutch called upon her true freshman, Inderkowski, who went 5 1/3 innings pitched and really won Michigan that game. A big decision by Hutch that really paid off.
Absolutely. And Bo being a 2021 All Big Ten first team, so also speaks to the respect that they have, the mutual respect. Bo being saying, maybe I don't have it today. Hutch willing to pull the cord and put a very young pitcher in with not a ton of experience, and ultimately got the dub.
And Taylor bump at the plate, fouling the first pitch off into foul territory, and looking at the second pitch for a ball. That'll bring us to 1 ball and 1 strike. Third pitch coming from Oatley. That is at the bottom of the strike zone, called a strike by home plate umpire Trina Comerford.
A late call there from Comerford, trying to decide whether that was in or out. Bump now into protect mode.
Bump. Skies this one on the right side, but playable in foul territory. And unable to get it is the second baseman, Morrison. She and Black were both over there, but just beyond her outreached arm.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little bit of confusion there. Morrison might have thought Black was going to get it. Black kind of took a bad route to the ball and deferred to Morrison. No wind today, so that wasn't a factor at all. Just a little bit of a lack of communication.
And Bump drives this one to right field, but right there is the right fielder, Mel Coombs, making the play. Bump making great contact, but Coombs in perfect positioning for the second out of the inning.
Yep. As you're taught, first step always back, and able to make that catch.
First pitch to Esmond, swung on and missed for a strike. Yesterday in Lauren Esmond's at-bat against Vanessa Oatley, she worked a walk, an 8-pitch walk. Looking to also get on base here. That is outside for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Esmond worked the count quite well her last time up, although eventually falling to a strikeout, but fouled off 4 or 5 pitches. Big reason why she's batting over 300. Works the count, waits for a mistake, capitalizes.
And there it is, a drive to right field. Fair, it's gone, but that is way foul.
Into the Michigan bullpen. Caught that thing well. Just hooked it a little bit, but Zach, like you were saying, that was going to be a tape measure shot if she was able to keep that fair.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch to Esmond, swung on and missed. She goes down swinging, and that'll do it for the bottom half of the 4th inning.
So we will see the top of that order.
Crothamel swings and misses at the first pitch. No balls and 1 strike. Lilia Crothamel, the number 9 hitter in the Penn State lineup, looks at a ball for the second pitch. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As you said, the lineup will flip after Crothamel is up. So we will see the 2-headed monster as it's 9-1-2 Lindmark and Kirland following Crothamel. 1-1 pitch is high. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Crothamel, dangerous speed, again on the base paths. With those 2 players still coming to bat in this inning, this is definitely an out that Stracco wants to get, but she misses again there. So
3 balls and 1 strike the count. She's going to have to come into Crothamel here. Crothamel in the last plate appearance struck out swinging.
If I'm Coach Crowell here for Penn State, I'm saying take. Make Stracco throw a strike here.
The pitch is low for a ball, and going to first base is Lilia Crothamel. And Stracco is going to have to face the top half of this Penn State lineup, Cassie Lindmark, with a runner on base with nobody out.
I'm honestly a little surprised to see no bullpen action for Michigan. With the amount that Stracco's pitched, she's at about 80, 85 pitches now. Might want to get a new arm in there.
First pitch is a called strike to Cassie Lindmark. Lindmark with a hit by pitch and a walk. Thus far in this game, she came around to score on the home run by Allie Kirland in the 3rd.
That being said, when you have Stracco, one of maybe the 5 best pitchers in all of college softball, just let her do her thing up there. I'm not one to second guess Coach Hutchins.
Fouled off is the second pitch to Cassie Lindmark, so no balls and 2 strikes. Crothamel at first base, good speed. And swing, and that's a dribbler past the shortstop. Widra not able to handle it on the bounce. And advancing to second is Crothamel, and going to first is Lindmark. And that is the second hit of the day for Penn State. And now it was Alex Stracco facing off against Allie Kirland, who hit the 2-run shot to right field in that 3rd inning. And Stracco facing adversity for the first time today. Runners on first and second with nobody out.
I think Widra was just surprised that ball didn't bounce up higher. It kind of just died on this infield dirt and ended up going under her glove. Still would have been a tough play. Probably would have had to go to second. That was going to be her only play had she fielded it cleanly. But Widra kind of new to the infield, new to the shortstop position.
Popped up behind home plate, but out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike to Allie Kirland. Dangerous designated player for Penn State. We're going to have a pinch runner on first base. Going to the dugout is Lindmark, and going to first base is Shelley Rivard. We saw Rivard yesterday and on Friday used as a pinch runner. She has 30 appearances this season, but only 2 at-bats. So it really goes to show that she is used primarily for her legs. She is 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts this season. So here she is.
Great speed on both second and first. Anything in the gap is probably going to score on both. And that's a bet you want to make with Kirland up at the dish.
And Kirland looks at a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count.
I do see a player down in the Michigan bullpen, although she is not warming up.
The pitch. Swung on and missed. Off speed. Fooled Kirland.
Wow. How about the belief in that pitch? To go off speed, down in the count 2-1 to the most dangerous hitter in this lineup. But Kirland was looking to hit that ball over the stands and right. Changeup, good pitch.
Storako, another changeup and strikeout. Looking is Kirland. One of the first strikeouts looking against Storako today, but good for the 12th strikeout overall on the day. First strikeout. First out of the 5th inning.
That looked like another changeup, and I think it just kind of buckled Kirland, who was expecting hard stuff again. Huge out for Storako, who now has a fighting chance of getting out of this one unscathed.
Leone at the plate. Looks at ball 1, the first pitch. Storako again going to have to work from behind.
Huge secondary leads by both Crothamel and Rivard on the base paths.
The 1-0 pitch is a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Going to the mound, the Michigan coach. 2 balls, no strikes. First pitch after the meeting is a strike, paying immediate dividends.
That was just a fastball right down the middle.
Leone's going to get something to hit here. And she does, but it's foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Storako in the driver's seat once again. And I failed to mention that Lindmark's single was the first time that a Penn State batter faced a 2-strike count and did not strike out today.
History at Alumni Field.
And another 2-strike count that does not result in a strikeout, as a weak line drive to third baseman Taylor Bump is taken care of. That is the 2nd out of the inning. And Storako is 1 out away from working out of trouble.
Threw the changeup again, and Leone was so out in front, it came off the extension on the end of the bat and just weakly popped up.
Lexi Black, swing and miss. The first pitch from Storako. No balls, 1 strike the count, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Storako, second pitch, high for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. We got a lot of 2s on that scoreboard right now. 2 outs in a 2-2 game, each team with 2 hits.
Black, 7 home runs on the year, has some pop, is someone that can send the ball into the gap.
She looks at that one for a ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. We've seen her have success thus far in the series with 1 hit in each of the previous 2 games. Thus far today, she has a walk and a strikeout. Swing and miss for strike 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes to count.
Black with the rustic, no batting gloves. Big, long bat. Takes big cuts at the ball.
The pitch struck her out, and that'll do it for the top half of the 5th inning. Alex Storako working into and out of trouble. No harm, no foul, as she struck out Lexi Black to end the frame. LeClaire gets the pitch, swinging, and as a pop-up to the left side and into and out of the glove of Leone. Hutch was potentially in her way.
Yeah.
But no complaints by Penn State. about Hutch, although now they're going to talk to home plate umpire Trina Comerford about a potential obstruction.
Yeah, 38 years as a head coach, you have a little cred. You can win some of those battles like that.
Leclerc looks at the ball as we look back at that pop-up, and Leone making contact with Hutch, but she still was unable to make the catch after getting in position. The ball bounced out of her glove and then hit the netting. Leclerc swings and misses at pitch number 3 in this at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, in contrast, Coach Clarissa Crowell of Penn State, appointed in 2020 after a very successful stint at Miami of Ohio, left the winningest coach in program history. That ball misses outside. But Crowell has been effective so far in her reign in Happy Valley. She led the Nittany Lions to a win over number 23 Minnesota, which was the program's first win over a ranked opponent since 2017. Earlier this year, a series sweep of Purdue as that ball's dribbled to the third baseman Leone and safe.
Audrey Leclerc bleeding that one out. The dribbler to Leone not able to make the play in time, going across the diamond. And what speed from Leclerc.
Lexi Black did the full splits there at first base.
Great effort.
Had he called that an out.
Sierra Kirsten squaring around for a bunt, unable to get it down. Got it down in foul territory, looking to get it down in fair territory if she still has the bunt sign on the second pitch, but that was good for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Michigan trying to get Leclerc in scoring position. And once again, the bunt attempt goes foul.
That was interesting from the catcher, Cassie Landmark, for Penn State. Almost tried to grab that before it went foul, which I don't think would have been the best play. Would have allowed the runner to advance. So
I would assume that Kirsten does not have the bunt sign
right.
with 2 strikes.
Kirsten has the most home runs in this lineup, too. Kind of weird to see her bunting.
Swinging foul ball against the netting. No balls and 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Ball is outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. As you said, Kirsten, as the 8-hitter, you don't really expect your 8-hitter to lead the team in home runs. She has 5 on the season, but to go with that, she leads the team in strikeouts with 29.
The ultimate 3 outcomes hitter: walk, strikeout, home run.
Pop up out of play. We'll do it again with a 1-2 count.
Interesting defensive alignment being played by Penn State right now. The corners of the infield are pretty tight, but the shortstop and second baseman are both pushed pretty out at kind of double play depth.
1-2 pitch is looped into left field, and making the play is Finnegan, and retreating back to first base is Leclerc. Good for the 2nd out of the inning. Now stepping to the plate is Annabelle Widra.
A pretty good at bat in the end by Kirsten. Was a little fooled by that changeup, but still able to get bat to ball and put it fairly deep down the left field line. But again, it's tough to find hits in this Penn State outfield unless you hit the ball really hard or hit it over the wall. Three very plus defenders who we've all seen make pretty good catches today and cover a lot of ground, especially with how these corner outfielders are playing so close to the line. And you can do that when you have a center fielder like Crothamel that can cover all that distance.
But unfortunately for Penn State, Crothamel could not cover the distance on Widra's last at-bat, a home run to center field as she looks at ball 1. Widra's home run in the 3rd inning was her first of her Michigan career and tied up the game at 2 runs apiece.
Yeah, how about your 8-hitter leading the team in home runs and then your 9-hitter being one of the 8 best recruits in the country and someone who can also hit for power?
That one's looped into right center, and ranging and getting it is Coombs running in, and that is the 2nd out of the inning. Swinging. And the first pitch, a swing and a foul ball into foul territory out of play. No balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, and they've combined for 4 strikeouts, so they haven't even really been putting the ball in play at all either. I think that's a big reason why Storraco's still out there on the mound. No action in the bullpen, though.
Storraco fires, and that is an off-speed pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good eye by Caitlyn Morrison.
And I think Storraco will be the first to tell you that the command hasn't quite been there. She hasn't been 100% sharp this game. Is that attributable to being kind of pitching so much over this weekend? I'm not sure.
She could be fatigued.
That being said, her ability to kind of fight through it despite not having her best stuff just shows what kind of player that, she is and why she is the leader of this pitching staff.
No doubt about it. Imagine not having your best stuff and still striking out 13 through 5 innings. Make that 14, David, as she retired Caitlyn Morrison swinging.
And that's the hat trick. 3 strikeouts for Morrison. She just cannot figure out Storraco.
And for Michigan, we have a defensive replacement at shortstop. Ella McVeigh in for Annabelle Widra. Offense for defense there.
Interesting. We saw Widra kind of misplay that grounder last inning. I wonder if that has anything to do with it, or just trying to get a new player in there, because Widra is a very threatening batter.
Storraco deals the second pitch of the at-bat in there for a swinging strike to Marcotte. 1 ball and 1 strike yesterday. McVeigh started the game at shortstop, but it was Widra pinch hitting for her. And then late in the game, McVeigh came back in as the defensive replacement for Widra at shortstop. The third pitch of the at-bat is a ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. So if that 9-hole comes up once again, I would expect it to be Widra taking the bat over McVeigh.
Definitely. And Widra has the solo shot this game, so there is precedent. That ball misses high.
3 balls and 1 strike. In Marcotte's last plate appearance, she did work a walk in the 4th, but in the 2nd, she struck out. So both ends of the spectrum for Marcotte. 3-1 pitches in there for a strike. Marcotte was late on that swing. Fooled, looking like she was expecting off speed, but that one was a fastball right past her bat. Count is now full.
Penn State has 4 walks on the day. They've been able to work the count.
And strike 3, second strikeout of the inning, 15th of the day for Alex Storraco, as Marcotte is set down on strikes. 2 up, 2 down in this 6th inning. And stepping up to the plate now is left fielder Finnegan. Maggie Finnegan.
Well, I talked earlier about the 17 Ks against Bowling Green, and I kind of laughed about it as if to say, wow, like that's never going to happen again. But we're at 15 now, so maybe I'm going to eat my words.
15 in a tie game with 4 outs to go. Potentially extra innings, who knows? The sky's the limit for Alex Storraco as she throws a strike to Maggie Finnegan. Second pitch is high for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Her pitch count up to 107 on the day.
And setting these Penn State batters down in order this inning would be big for Storraco, because then she can kind of split up the top of that Penn State order. It'll be Coombs and Krauthamel to start, and then she'd see Lindmark a third next inning, as opposed to having Lindmark or Kirland lead off or bat second in an inning where they can do a little bit more damage.
And that is strikeout number 3, number 16 on the day for Alex Storraco. And that'll do it. Run came off the bat of Audrey LeClaire to walk it off.
Yeah, she's got 2 losses for the weekend, but that really is misleading. She's pitched well. On Friday, it was really, she dominated the Michigan lineup aside from the 3-run bomb from Taylor Bump. Yesterday, that just kind of is, if you're in big situations and you give up a run, you're going to get the loss. But Parshall has been one of the best pitchers in not only the Big Ten, but the country so far this year, and someone that it's going to be difficult for Michigan to hit hard.
Indeed, 2 strikes early to Ellie Sealer. No balls and 2 strikes to the first batter in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pop up out of play, almost hitting the lights. We'll run it back at no balls and 2 strikes for Ellie Sealer. Sealer still looking for that first hit in this series. 0 for 1 Friday, 0 for 4 yesterday, and 0 for 4 thus far in this game, although she did work a walk. And there it is, the first hit by Ellie Sealer in this series, as that was a shot over the glove of shortstop Marcotte.
I think Marcotte actually got a little bit of a glove to it. Marcotte says, "Oh, why couldn't I be 2 inches taller?" as she leapt up for that and just tipped off the very top.
At the dish, swing around to bunt, and getting Sealer over to second base. Partial not even looking to make a play, and got the job done. Getting the job done was Hannah Carson. Now Michigan with a runner in scoring position.
You know, the nerves of coming in this high pressure situation with the tie game. Just get the easy out at first. Now you have to face someone batting over 400 with the runner in scoring position, however. An old teammate.
And she's very familiar with Melina Livingston, as Livingston was a former teammate, as you said, and shoots that one foul on the third base side. No balls and 2 strikes.
And Melina hit the, Livingston hit the leadoff double against Partial that was eventually driven in last game by
LeClaire.
Yeah, LeClaire. Thanks.
I'm here for you. So Livingston with an 0-2 count. Ball is high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. With 1 out and a runner on second, Livingston has been insane this season with runners on base and runners in scoring position. On base, she's hitting .444 with runners in scoring position. Her batting average shoots to .500.
That's not bad, is it?
Not bad at all. And that one's to right field, ranging back as Coombs. A step in front of the warning track, making the play, but tagging up from second base is Sealer, and she gets into third base easily. Livingston,
she just missed that one.
About 10 feet from extending this lead, or giving Michigan a lead. And Penn State is well aware, as they will intentionally walk Taylor Bump, not giving her the chance. It's not often you see a .215 hitter intentionally walked, but that's just that just goes to show that Taylor Bump has that power and is not truly a .215 hitter.
Yeah, especially with someone batting over 300 behind her in the lineup. This might be a first. But and Bump has a little bit of ownage, would feel so confident in this at-bat after that 3-run shot that she hit off Partial on Friday. So Crowell is going to say, we'll take our chances with Esmond.
And Esmond now stepping to the plate. She went 0 for 2 with a strike.
And it's someone that Partial hasn't, isn't comfortable with in the box, hasn't seen a ton.
First pitch to Thole is outside and low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Thole has power with 3 home runs on the season to go with 9 RBI.
Yeah, second on the team in home runs despite having less than 50 at-bats.
Looks that one go by for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs. Huge at-bat here for Michigan in the bottom of the 6th inning. Game tied at 2. A situation similar to the one yesterday. Every at-bat is of great importance, especially against a team you're tied with in the standings. As Thole looks at that one go by for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And Partial doesn't have to give in to Thole here. There is an open base. She might not want to put Thole on, but it's not the end of the world. You don't have to just come in here with a fastball down the middle. You can be precise.
An off-speed pitch down the middle instead, and that is a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one fooled Thole.
Yeah, and the leverage she has, the free base allows her to go off speed there.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch swung on and fouled off against the netting.
Thola's sophomore, so big moment for an underclassman in this Michigan lineup. Kind of a hunched stance.
Partial gets her sign, comes set. The pitch swung on and dribbled to the right side, fielded by Black, fielded by Morrison, goes over to Black and gets the job done. And Kiki Thol grounds out to end the threat. First pitch to Claire Swedberg is popped up on a bunt attempt. 1 pitch, 1 out. Swedberg was pinch hitting in that 8th spot for Mel Coombs.
Looks like we're going to see another pinch hitter here. This looks like Emily Maddock. So just trying to get anything going for those that two-headed monster, as you call it, Zach, at the top of that Penn State lineup.
Emily Maddock looks at strike 1.
Emily Maddock just 15 ABs on the season, batting .267.
We saw her yesterday. She a pinch hit for Crothamel and got out in her only plate appearance. Second pitch is a ball that is high. Something about Emily Maddock to take note of is the very small strike zone. She stands at a whopping 5 feet tall. So Alex Storako with her strikeout prowess given a challenge here. Now when dribbled to Esmond at first base, and she just easily turns around, steps on first base, and retires Maddock for the 2nd out of the inning.
Hey, we've seen contact 2 batters in a row, though.
That's the first time all game.
And so this is what I was mentioning earlier about breaking up that two-headed monster. Now you face Lindmark with no one on and 2 out.
First pitch to Lindmark is high for a ball. So far today, she's reached base on every plate appearance. A hit by pitch in the 1st, a walk in the 3rd, and a single in the 5th. Second pitch from Storako is in there for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm so impressed by how Storako's gotten command of that changeup as the game has gone. Usually, if it doesn't kind of work at the beginning of the game, you kind of stop using it. But she's stuck with it, and around the 3rd, 4th inning, she got great command of that changeup, and it's been a plus pitch for her, especially against this Lindmark-Kirland duo at the top of the lineup.
Indeed, it has with 2-1 count to Maddock, or not Maddock. That was Lindmark, and was that caught? No, that was a home run by Lindmark. LeClaire almost got that one, ran into the wall, and she's shaken up a little bit, grabbing that right shoulder. And a home run by Lindmark.
It looked like LeClaire made an incredible catch out there. She went in hard to the wall. But Lindmark going yard. That's her 7th home run on the year. And how about going oppo into right center field?
And that home run to right field by Cassie Lindmark, just beyond the glove of Audrey LeClaire, who was ranging back and hit the wall. And she was throwing the ball around right here, and she seems to be okay. She gets a round of applause from the crowd, and Michigan now in an unfamiliar territory, down 3-2. And as you say, that was huge to get Maddock out, the 9-hitter for Penn State, with Lindmark up with nobody on. As now it's only a 1-run game. Michigan needing to score 1 at the moment in the bottom of the 7th, but now the second head in that 2-headed monster, Allie Kirland, stepping up to the plate.
I just wonder if it might have been time for a change. Fourth time through the lineup against Lindmark, who's clearly been seeing Storako pretty well. As you said, has reached base every time. Just at least changing it up a little bit, getting a new arm, maybe putting a left-handed pitcher in or something, you know. Just anything to change the angles for Lindmark, who's been so locked in. Instead, Lindmark makes contact and gives Penn State a 3-2 lead, and they're in the driver's seat now for what would be a rare win over Michigan.
And swing and a miss from Kirland. Throw to first base, and she is retired on the drop third strike. Nice off-speed pitch by Alex Storako. And stepping to the plate now is Audrey LeClaire in the 3-2 game in the bottom of the 7th inning. And we take a look at the home run from the top half of the 7th inning, Cassie Lindmark, just beyond the outstretched glove of Audrey LeClaire. Now LeClaire at the dish. David just told me during break he thought she caught it, and I said I did too. She almost did, but unfortunately for Michigan, unfortunately for Penn State, Penn State takes the lead 3-2 due to the bat of Cassie Lindmark.
I'm kind of surprised she's hitting here. Just after that big collision she made with the wall was really favoring that right shoulder. We didn't know if she was going to stay in the ball game, and now she's leading off the inning.
Very good defensive swing by LeClaire there to just stay alive. No balls and 2 strikes. Again, yesterday she was at bat in the bottom of the 7th inning and hit that flare loop single to left field that won the game. Different situation now, just needing to get on base so that someone else can play the role that she did yesterday.
And 2 big power hitters following her in Sierra Kirsten and then Widra, excuse me.
Great eye by LeClaire looking at that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That last pitch was low and outside, but the Penn State dugout not a fan of that call by Trina Comerford. 1-2 pitch coming from Partial to LeClaire. And dribbled to the second baseman, Morrison, to first baseman Black, and LeClaire is retired.
Well, here we go. Michigan's biggest home run threat against Penn State's best pitcher.
Swing and a miss, fooled by the off-speed. Starting this count off with a strike. No balls and 1 strike the count with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Michigan still with some life, but not a lot of time left.
Way out in front of that changeup.
0-1 pitch. High and outside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Michigan trying to do anything they can to extend this game and get Burkhart back up, who's 0 for 3 on the day, but such a dangerous hitter.
Did she go? She did, says third plate umpire Charles McManus. Sierra Carson tried to hold up, but she was unable to do so. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So now you protect the plate here. Try to get anything in contact. The infield playing back, so a tapper, you do have a chance to kind of beat it out.
Off-speed pitch is outside for a ball. Once again, the Penn State dugout cheering prematurely. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Maybe a little bit of a strategy to affect the ump. Maybe if you hear the crowd go wild, you're more willing to call it a strike. Ineffective that time.
Sierra Carson looking to avoid strikeout number 31 on the season. Unable to do so, as she is set down on strike swinging. And Michigan down to their last out. And up to bat is Annabelle Widra, who earlier this game hit a home run to center field right by our own Dan Levine.
This big crowd here would explode. With the speed at which Partial throws and the power that Widra has, it's certainly plausible.
First base to Widra, swung on and popped up. First baseman Lexi Black is there in foul territory and gets the job done. And that's game. Penn State taking this one by a score of 3-2, even though they were 3 for 23 today in the box. Michigan not much better at 4 for 24.